Antonio Graceffo. Today we're in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and we're at the Cao Dai temple. Now, Cao Dai is a religion which originated in Vietnam in the 1920s and was then exported through refugees and Vietnamese missionaries and Vietnamese immigrants to other countries. The largest places for Cao Dai outside of Vietnam, I think the United States #1, France and Australia, because those are the places where refugees went. But here in Cambodia there's also 2 Cao Dai temples. And the founder of Cao Dai is actually interred here in Cambodia. Cao Dai religion was meant to be a fusion religion, and it melded the 3 major religions of Vietnam. Vietnam, Buddhism and Catholicism are the 2 major religions, and then Confucism, which could be considered a religion or a philosophy, but the 3 were then melded together, and they took a lot from the Catholic Church. So for example, the headquarters of the Cao Dai is in Thay Nin, Vietnam, and it's called the Holy See. So it's sort of modeled after the Vatican. There was a pope, they have cardinals, they have monks. The Cao Dai Holy See in Thay Nin, Vietnam is a raucous affair, exploding with thousands of colors, and the adherents wear colorful gowns to denote their rank. For example, if they're a bishop, a priest, monk, layperson, what have you. Cao Dai prayers are done 4 times a day. Here in Phnom Penh they last about 30 minutes. Seeing the prayers in Thay Nin is like attending a parade. It's a loud, long affair, and quite interesting. The 2 temples in Phnom Penh are a bit more subdued. The adherents explained to us that in the old days, Prince Sihanouk, when he was the Prime Minister of Cambodia, had a close relationship with the Cao Dai founder, and he invited him to come live in Cambodia, and that's when the 2 temples were built. During the Khmer Rouge years, Vietnamese were particularly targeted by both sides, both the Republicans and the Khmer Rouge, and many Vietnamese villagers were slaughtered, their religion completely destroyed. Cao Dai and Catholic religion were almost annihilated. Obviously all religions suffered under the Khmer Rouge, but foreign religions were particularly targeted. In a room behind the main prayer hall, the worshippers explain to us how they maintain the spirits of the dead. Offerings are made on a daily basis. Alcohol is given in the morning. Tea is given in the evening. Water is given at night. So Cambodia, Manu Cao Dai Ding O Chia Junjit Vietnam?
Vietnam.
Ding O.
Việt Nam của Biên Khmer của Khmer tích Khmer tích Khmer tích na Khmer
Chết thì sao Việt Nam đã ở đây?
Kinh riêng phía xa Việt Nam, Hanoi. Kinh riêng phía xa Việt Nam. Kinh riêng nào Hanoi, kinh Ho Chi Minh. These coffins are here, and the Cao Dai community will give them to anybody who's too poor to buy a coffin if a family member dies, and they don't care if you're Cao Dai or not Cao Dai, they'll give you the coffin. One of the men explained to me that the normal tradition in Cao Dai is that the body will be placed in a coffin and buried. That's for normal people. But he was saying that if someone is very poor and they can't afford to buy a plot, a burial plot, then they would be burned. But the normal custom is that they would be buried. The 4 major ethnic groups in Cambodia are Khmer, Chinese, Cham, Muslims, and Vietnamese. And the Khmer burn their dead, Chinese bury their dead, Cham bury their dead, and then the Vietnamese normally bury their dead, except in the case, he said, if they can't afford to buy a burial plot, then they'll burn the dead. Cao Dai, they have 3 patron saints, and one is Sun Yat-sen, one is Victor Hugo, and one is Nguyen Binh Khiem. Nguyen Binh Khiem is the Vietnamese first poet laureate, famous for his prophecies revealing himself as the master of a heavenly lodge named Bac Van Dong. White stanza. Victor Hugo and Sun Yat-sen were among his disciples. Here in French it says Dieu et humanité, amour et justice, which means God, humanity, love, and justice. In Chinese it says Tian Shang, Tian Xia, and that means under heaven and up in heaven. Diese drei Heilige, deren Mission es ist, das Bundes zwischen Gott und der Menschheit zu realisieren, die realisiert durch Mäuse, die durch Jesu Christ führen und unterstützen geistig die Cao-Daisten in der Verbreitung der neuen heiligen Doktrin. Victor Hugo ist selbst der geistige Führer der fremden Mission des Cao Dai Moses. So basically their mission was to bring about the unification of the various religions, that they also recognized Jesus, they also recognized Moses. The religion was based primarily on Catholicism, Buddhism, and Confucism, which are the three major philosophies or religions, if you will, in Vietnam. And Victor Hugo is the official saint of the foreign missionaries of Cao Dai. And there's Cao Dai in France, in Australia, and in the United States, because those are places where Vietnamese refugees went. We're in the special temple now, shrine, and this is where the Cao Dai founder was interred when he died, and his body was kept here for many years, and it was just returned to Vietnam 3 years ago. This picture right here is very significant in showing what Cao Dai is. From the front, it looks like a picture of Jesus. If you look at it from another side, it's going to look like a picture of Buddha. And if we look at it from the other side, the image will actually change and it will look like the founder of Cao Dai.